what's happening YouTube? It's your boy Deep CP, and I am back again with another video. And today we're going to be doing the top 10 worst movies of 2024. If you haven't seen the first video we did on the top 10 best movies of 2024, I did that video with my fiance, and I'm going to post a link in the description down below so you guys can go check it out. And also, I'm going to pop a link in the description to our brand new TikTok account. If you guys haven't gone over there and checked it out yet, my fiance is doing a great job on it. Please subscribe and give her some love. But if you guys have any suggestions for future videos or top 10s, let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed any of the movies, that's okay. It is your opinion, just like this is my opinion about these movies. And if you disagree with my opinions, that's okay. We're all human here, and nobody is right or wrong. And if you enjoy these, more power to you. But without further ado, let's get into the top 10 worst movies of 2024. Number 10, If.
All of us.
All of who? And don't say ifs.
Honestly, this movie is just kind of forgettable. It wasn't bad, but I don't really remember anything about it. Most memorable part to me, Steve Carell's performance as this imaginary friend character. And honestly, to me, Foster's Home just did it better. It was more entertaining. It was funnier. The storylines was better. It just felt like Foster's Home with celebrities in it. If you really want to watch it, it's not a bad movie. It's just really forgettable and doesn't have that much substance to it, except the celebrity performances, which are funny. There are some funny moments in the movie. It's just not the best movie ever made. I cannot recommend this movie unless you have kids. It's just a bland kids movie, and I couldn't put it anywhere else but here in the top part of the list. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just forgettable. Number 9, Garfield.
We're gonna need the big scale.
Does she need to announce it to the whole office?
I love both Chris Pratt and Garfield, but those two things just don't go together. They should have just stuck with Bill Murray, which he hated doing those movies, but his performance as Garfield kind of works. Garfield's lazy, so when Bill Murray phoned in his performance, he accidentally became a Garfield that works. They could have cast Frank Welker, which is still in the voice acting industry and has played Garfield. There's a lot of actors that could have filled the role that fit the character better. I get they tried to make Garfield more energetic and flipping around and all this stuff, but that's not Garfield. It's trying to stretch out a comic strip into a full-length movie. Garfield is a hilarious character in comics, and it should stay that way. Number 8, Despicable Me 4. Honestly, guys, come on. We've had Minions movies. We've had 4 Despicable Me movies. I think it's time to retire the franchise, which I think they're going to do, at least in the mainline Despicable Me movies. The way they ended this seems like it could end. I think the movie itself is tolerable. It's not a bad movie, but it's another bland Illumination film. And use the story of Gru and the kids and Lucy very well after the third movie. I didn't like Drew. I'm glad they pushed him to the side for this movie. If I had to hear that voice again from Steve Carell, I would punch something.
I'm gonna fight you now. Oh, are you?
The coolest thing about it, I guess, was the cockroach villain. They still retcon stuff from the earlier movies, which made no sense, but I won't get into spoilers. But if you want to watch it and you got kids, it's fine. If you're watching it as a fan of the franchise, you're going to be disappointed. Number 7, Borderlands.
How sweet. One of you kill the other. I'm gonna go get a coffee.
Lionsgate rushed this movie. They pushed it out as fast as they could. Didn't really care. They weren't really trying, and it just was really phoned in. For you to make this movie and not even really care that much, it's just shameless. They just threw the label on there. Granted, they tried to film this during COVID. They still could have made this movie a lot better than they did. You had a huge fan base. waiting for years to see this movie. This was disappointing. The games is a lot of fun. I'm not going to go too deep into this one because there's already better videos that have talked about this movie and what happened with it, which I'm going to pop a link in the description down below to one of my favorites discussing this topic that goes way more into detail than I ever could on this. I can only tell you it's not good. It's just disappointing. Number 6, Kung Fu Panda 4.
The Happy Bunny Tavern. Well, that sounds inviting.
Guys, I love Kung Fu Panda. I used to watch Legends of Awesomeness on Nickelodeon when I was in school. I had action figures. I had stuffed toys. I had t-shirts. I loved this franchise. I went into this movie really excited and then came out really upset. Kung Fu Panda, honestly, is one of the best franchises DreamWorks has, and they had a lot to live up to after the third one. All this was the hero's gonna retire trope. Works for some franchises. Look at Creed, Ghostbusters. That works because they don't crap on the original franchise. The only thing that saves this for me is two things: nostalgia and that banging soundtrack. That's it for this movie. If you got kids, I'll recommend it because it's fun. I mean, the action scenes are awesome. But outside of that, this movie just craps all over the franchise and sidelined the Furious 5 and just isn't worth your time. Number 5, Megamind 2.
This is beyond embarrassing. Sorry, sir.
Going on to another DreamWorks sequel. Here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and point this out. I really enjoyed the first Megamind. Megamind was my favorite superhero for a long time. I went with my grandmother to see it. I was obsessed with it. I remember it was around that time we went to Toys R Us and I actually found a box set of miniature Megamind figures. But my love for the first movie aside, I can't understate how disappointed I was when I found out none of the original cast came back and it was horrible looking. The animation was bad. The story was bad. The comedy was terrible. There was absolutely no substance to this. First movie they promoted in the trailer for the sequel. That tells you how bad the movie is. If you're using the animation from the first movie that came out over a decade ago, there's a problem with the sequel already. The new villains have no substance to them. It made no sense within the lore of Megamind. Where was these other villains at in the plot of the first one? I can't stress enough how disappointed I was with it and how much potential this could have had, but Universal and DreamWorks just didn't care and wanted to throw Megamind's name on it just to make a quick dollar. Number 4, the Sandy Cheeks movie.
With sea pals, I'm giving the whole world a chance to cuddle with the creatures of the sea.
Wanda Sykes is just really too into fish. I mean, that's all I need to say. The whole plot revolves around that. I'm a huge SpongeBob fan. And honestly, I saw potential in a Sandy Cheeks standalone movie. The problem is they completely retconned a lot of the canon that's been established over the last, 25 years. All of a sudden, now it doesn't matter anymore. Sandy works for this evil company. Honestly, a slap to the face of anybody that is a fan of this franchise. They have established over 2 decades now what the story behind Sandy being in Bikini Bottom is. I mean, it was kind of interesting to see what her family's like. They made SpongeBob even dumber. Honestly shows the difference between early season SpongeBob and modern SpongeBob. They just make him an idiot for comedic effect. If you are a massive SpongeBob fan, don't. It's disappointing. Number 3, Kraven the Hunter.
I stared death in the face, and for the first time, I saw my true self.
It's a D-list Marvel villain that only true Spider-Man fans really care about. And without Spider-Man in it, why would anybody go to this? It makes no sense. The reason Venom works as a solo franchise is because Venom has established story outside of the Spider-Man mythos. It works because Venom is broad enough in its fan base that can work. Kraven doesn't have that luxury. This movie in particular thought casting Aaron Taylor Johnson they were going to get tickets sold just because he's in it. That's not how this works. This movie just didn't have any appeal to it. I really think Sony needs to understand Venom only worked because he has a big fan base. Yeah, Craven's been in a few of the mainline Spider-Man stories, but at the end of the day, if you're a Spider-Man fan and you actually want a good Craven storyline, stick to the comics. Just skip it. Number 2, Madam Web.
Been having visions. I knew he was gonna die. I think I'm seeing the future.
Okay, we're gonna stick with the Sony movies now. It doesn't work. Madam Web is not that interesting. If Sony wants to make a universe of Spider-Man villains, please, if you're going to scrape the bottom of the barrel, at least try. After this movie, I would have thought Sony would have learned before they made Craven. But this movie is so bad, I can't even recommend it, period. Craven at least had cool action scenes in it. This movie is just so bland, and it's so boring, and it's from a character that has less of a fan base than Craven. This doesn't work without Spider-Man. Taking Madam Web away from that and trying to do something with her by herself, it just doesn't work. And as a standalone movie, it does not work. And number 1, Joker 2.
Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment.
How? How did we mess up this bad? How did you let this happen? How did you manage to let a $1 billion movie just throw itself down the crapper because the director didn't want to do another one? That is so shameless. That is so lazy. And it's just an absolute smack to the face of anybody that enjoyed the first Joker. Anybody that's morbidly curious about it, skip over this. Even the Harley Quinn story was not worth the price of admission to watch this movie. I have to say, if you're going to make a musical, at least the songs need to be catchy. It's forgettable. It's bland. It's terrible. And it's not even the real Joker. Built up the whole first movie just to be, oh, you know what? He's not the real Joker. He's just a crazy guy. And you're the people that are crazy because you paid to watch this.
We've got to have money.
Tell you what, I don't care if I spoiled it for you or not. Don't pay for this and don't watch it. It's not worth your time. And if you enjoyed that first movie, all it is a slap to the face if you did enjoy it. Alright guys, I don't really have any honorable mentions here, or in this case, dishonorable mentions. I just think that some of these had more potential to them, and these studios just really didn't care. There was some problems that could have been fixed, but they didn't really put the extra mile in to fix them. But anyway, that's it for today, guys. Be sure to go over there and check out our brand new TikTok account. Check it out and subscribe. If you guys haven't seen my first top 10 list of the top 10 best movies of 2024, I'll pop a link in the description to it down below so you guys can go over there and check it out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to surf into that subscribe button, wave it for notifications, and stay tuned for more buried treasure. That's it for today, guys. Deep Sea Pete out. Catch you on the coast side. Woo!